Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Artastic and revolutionary greetings, boys and girls, ladies and gents, scholars and laymen, to the wokish and the sleepish, to the sheeple and the people. This is your brother, Brother Ron, also known as R2C2H2 the Artivist, with another wonderful, edutating, infiltrating edition of We All Bees, the Artivist Thinks, Thoughts Provocateur, and I am honored to be blessed to be here on September 1st, 2020, also known as 901 Day in my hometown, Memphis. Our area code is 901, so they celebrate 901 Day, kind of like you look at St. Louis, they got 314 Day, that's March the 14th, so we got 901 Day. So Memphis is a great place. You know, there's a Memphis, Egypt, back in the day, still exists, I guess. So we got Memphis, Tennessee, and we serve the same purpose. I don't get with all this land of the dead BS, because Memphis, Egypt was a place of commerce, religious, economic, culture. Just like Memphis is a place of commerce, religion, economics, culture, distribution hub. So I'm here. It's no coincidence, and we're going to talk about today the unfortunate, tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman. That's Chadwick Boseman, aka the Black Panther, aka Jackie Robinson, number 42, aka James Brown, aka any black historical figure. He probably could play anybody. He was so brilliant in capturing the spirit and essence of our righteous ancestors. He could have played Frederick Douglass. He even pulled out Thurgood Marshall, which is impressive. You know, it's interesting because people talk about, well, he was too dark to play Thurgood Marshall. Him and Thurgood were both alums of the Howard University. Howard, not Harvard. Howard University in Washington, D.C., the historically black college and university. But he, from my understanding, turned down the role initially. He turned down the role of Marshall. But he actually received a letter, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from Thurgood Marshall's son to encourage him to play the role of his father. And I saw the movie Marshall in theaters back in October 2017, and I was not disappointed because Chadwick was a great performer. He actually focused on an aspect of Thurgood's life and on a case that was not well known today, because we know Thurgood for the Brown v. Board decision, arguing before the Supreme Court, becoming the first black Supreme Court justice in this nation's history. But he was talking about a case before all that, which is very interesting, dealing with race and sex in America, and thoroughly entertained. Chadwick was brilliant in bringing our historical figures to life. It's kind of like, you know, people forget that Sidney Poitier played Thurgood Marshall in a made-for-TV movie. And we all know that Sidney is nowhere near the color, as light, as bright as Thurgood. He was dark as midnight if you compare him to Thurgood, who was light and bright. But Sidney had such a dignity and there's a gravitas about him that he's able to capture the role without any problem. So, like with Chadwick with Thurgood, his turn, brilliant. And also think about Malcolm X, who was a benefactor of Chadwick. He was a benefactor of Chadwick, and he was brilliant as well as capturing the essence. Well, he is brilliant. He's still with us, thank God, of capturing the spirit of our ancestors. You know, brother Denzel owned the Malcolm role when he played Malcolm X in Spike Lee's movie. He owned that role. You know, Denzel was not as tall as Malcolm, nor was he as bright as Malcolm in terms of skin color. But make no mistake about it, this son of a preacher man captured the spirit and essence of Malcolm. You got lost. You thought Denzel was Malcolm. That's how brilliant he was. Same thing with Chadwick. He had that gift of being able to shapeshift, to make you believe that he was that guy, that he was that man. And so I believe Denzel saw Kendrick's spirit and Chadwick. And then also he had the blessing of Felicia Rashad, who was his professor at Howard University, who connected him with Denzel, for him to get that tuition to go to that prestigious acting academy over in England. So he had the great ones in their profession believe that he had next up. They believed in this guy. They saw something in him. And when I saw Jackie Robinson, once again, Chadwick, he didn't sound like Jackie Robinson. Didn't really look like Jackie Robinson, but he owned that role, man. You could feel it. That intensity. The son of Anderson, South Carolina. My people on my dad's side, they from South Carolina, from Greenville and Charleston and stuff like that. And people make a point about maybe more ADOS, American descendant of slaves, and foundational black Americans should be playing the roles of our historical figures. Because you got Selma, which was played by a African Brit, and also you had now you got Fred Hampton coming out, Judas and the Black Messiah coming out next year, and Daniel Kaluuya, I believe his name Kaluuya, he's playing the role of Fred Hampton Sr. And I saw the trailer. It looks well done, but I have no faith in Hollywood when it comes to telling our stories. Black history stories, our heroes and sheroes, why heroes and sheroes stories. You look at what happened with the Harriet Tubman movie. I saw that in the theaters. Disappointed. Not too disappointed, because I don't expect that much from these movies, these biopics produced by Hollywood. It is what it is, but people complain, well, maybe a black person from American black should have played Fred Hampton. Now, Dan Kaluuya is a great actor. He was the lead in Get Out. He also played in the Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman. He also played in the movie Queen and Slim. But I noticed that these movies that he's leading in or is a part of, a lot of these are psyops to manipulate the minds of black folk. Because even Black Panther, it made a lot of money at the box office. I saw it twice in the movie theaters. I was impressed. But when you look upon further examination, what it really was about, and I think Judge Brown was one of the first people to really call it out in his own analysis of the movie. He was ahead of his time in terms of breaking down what he called the Black Pussy movie. And he was disappointed in how black men were portrayed in the movie. And a lot of us thought that Killmonger was the actual hero. This is the guy who was representing the ADOS and FBA claims, and really try to, connect with the diaspora after being bastardized by the Wakandans. His own uncle killed his father. Cain and Abel, right? Sweetie pies now. When Tim Norman killing his nephew. It's very Shakespearean, Greek tragedy levels up to this thing. But I'm not going to get too far ahead of that. I just want to, offer my condolences, amplify condolences and blessings to the family of Chadwick Boseman. What a loss for them. And, what's interesting, they say he died at 42. And then they changed it. Within 24 hours, less than 24 hours, they changed him from dying at 42 to 43. A lot of the major news outlets. I got screenshots that I would share. If you are looking at this in a video form, I'm going to share screenshots from different news sites and other places that show him listed as being 42. That showed him being born November 29th, 1977. That's November 29th. 1977, not 76. He had IMDb, he had Wikipedia, he had reputable so-called trusted sites listing this as the birth date, and then Disney or wherever said we're going to change it to 76. Even in his death announcement on his official Instagram page, There was no date of birth or age listed in the announcement, which is interesting. And I think people are catching on. Because think about it. Chadwick Boseman, star of 42, dies at 42. Think about, wow, that is crazy. So he played 42, which is reference to Jackie Robinson's playing number, and he dies at the age of 42. And if anybody studies, I'm not too deep into this stuff like that. I got a lot on my mind. I just kind of like, I surf the surface of things. I skip over the surface of things. I let y'all go a little deeper and steeper into things, right? But my thing as a thought provocateur is throw some other things out there to counter the official narrative. But 42, the number 42 is a very powerful number. Just do a Google search or a DuckDuckGo search or whatever into the number 42, the religious meaning of 42, the scientific meaning of 42, the cultural meaning of 42, the whatever meaning of 42. Look to the studying the number 42 online. Take a look. It's all online and come to your own conclusion about things. Because I've been started really getting deep into numbers and stuff really this year after the death of Kobe Bean Bryant, which is interesting. His birthday was August 23rd. His first posthumous birthday was August 23rd. He would have been 42. He would have been 42, right? Also, his playing number for the latter half of his career was 24, which is a reverse of 42. 4 plus 2 is 6. And, that's a hexagon, right? I'm not get all deep into that, but you think about the game of life, right? How many dots are on a dice? I believe it's 42, right? 42 dots on a dice. It's fascinating, man. You start getting these numbers. Numbers go deep. But, yeah. So you have the star of 42. Die at 42. But they changed it to 43. But you had articles, like I'm going to show a screenshot of an article. If you're looking at this via video, that came out last year at the Mashable website. And what I want to encourage y'all to do is start screenshotting stuff like this, because I got this for posterity, because they're going to change that probably too. They did a whole article that came out November 29th, 2019, dedicated to Chadwick Boseman and the movie 42 about Jackie Robinson, in which he starred as the lead. They did it on that day because it was his 42nd birthday. They said in the article, we're going to talk about 42 on this man's 42nd birthday and the significance of 42, the movie. And they talked about this on his alleged 42nd birthday. Or the article came out, was published on November 29th, 2019, which is supposed to have been his 42nd birthday. Like I said, IMDb, all these other sites, they've been having this stuff up for a while. They had him born in 77, not 76. But they change it now. They change it. So, here's the thing. Y'all need to pay attention, because I think what they're doing is that they know people are becoming more aware of the numbers game. Numbers don't lie, but people do. It's like, and then also you got to understand who controls the narrative, the context of things, because 42 is a very powerful number in black history. Like I said, that was Jackie Robinson number, 42, right? How old was Rosa Parks when she refused to remove from her seat on the Montgomery bus, which started the Montgomery bus boycott? She was 42 years young when she refused to remove herself from that seat on the bus. And the bus boycott lasted for 381 straight days. So also, 42 is the number of games that Moses Fleetwood Walker, a baseball pioneer, he's the first identifiably black person to play professional baseball. Now, you got another guy who played before him, but he never claimed to be black. He saw himself as white. I think his last name was Brown. Oh, he went to Brown University. Something like that. I'll do another show about that. But Moses Fleetwood Walker, identified as a black man, was the first black man to play baseball. And he had a fascinating life too. They don't talk about him as far as being a revolutionary or being an activist. This guy was about his business, man. Really, a movie should have been made about Moses Fleetwood Walker, but he played 42 professional games. He was a catcher in Major League Baseball, or professional baseball, whatever they called it at the time. So that number is very important in Black history. It's connected to Black history. I know Gematria breaks it down a little bit further than I do, but I just noticed that the world is ran on numbers. You know, the movie and the book, with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy of the Universe or whatever. Something that y'all don't know. Mos Def played in. It came out in the early 2000s. Mos Def would have made a great Fred Hampton. You know, they got him some years early. He would have made a great Fred Hampton. He's a decent actor, great talent. One of my favorite rappers. A talented man, versatile. He would have made a great Fred Hampton, actually. But the movie, they said the answer to life is 42. 42 is the answer to life. They never tell you what the original question was, but the answer is 42, right? And it was like computed by this machine called Deep Thought that processes answer or researches answer for millions of years. I guess 7.5 million years. Whatever. Let's look at the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe or the Galaxy, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, take a look. It's all online. But yeah, why would they go to all that trouble to change his birth year? Which is interesting. We start digging deeper. You know, Chadwick Boseman did a movie. He did 2 movies with a brother named Nelson Ellis. Very brilliant, talented actor from the Chicagoland area. Brilliant, talented actor. Could shape ship like Chadwick Boseman. He was some of the most talented actors of their generation. He also died tragically young. At the age of 39, he was dealing with alcoholism. He was trying to quit drinking, and the demons got the best of him. He died from complications from alcohol withdrawal. He was trying to quit alcohol, had some complications, and he died July 8th, 2017, at the age of 39. 39 is a very powerful number in Black history, too. That's the same age that Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., James Reese Europe, and some other folks died at the age of 39. So other significant Black people. Not saying that he was on the level of those guys in terms of leadership, but as far as being very talented, to die that young, to be young, gifted, and Black, and to die that young is a loss. But the reason why I brought him up, you know, he played in The Express, which is the true story about the Syracuse football legend Ernie Davis, who was the first Black person to win the Heisman Trophy. In that movie, Nelson Ellis played Ernie Davis's brother, Willie Davis, if I'm not mistaken. And also in that movie, Chadwick Boseman played another Syracuse football legend and NFL Hall of Famer Floyd Little. He played the running back Floyd Little in the movie The Express, with Nelson Ellis playing the brother of Ernie Davis. Also, they played in the James Brown biopic Get On Up, with Chadwick playing James Brown and Nelson Ellis playing James Brown's best friend or collaborator, whatever, Bobby Bird. Bobby Bird. He played him, which is crazy. You think about it. And guess what? Birthdays, right? Life affirmation days. Chadwick was born, I'm going to still believe he was born in 1977. I don't believe he was born in 76. Chadwick was born November 29th, 1977. Guess when Nelson Ellis was born? November 30th, 1977. Let me repeat that. Chadwick Boseman was born November 29th, 1977. Nelson Ellis was born November 30th, 1977. Chadwick died at 42, a significant number in Black history. Nelson died at 39, another very significant number in Black history. So I'm just letting y'all marinate on that. That's something to marinate on. And like I said, I don't know what it means. I just know that you start seeing how the world or the universe is ran on numbers. For me, it's ran on numbers. It's ran on numbers. And I'm gonna get back to that. But I guess I'd probably do a part 2 where I find some more information. But when I thought about the passing of Chadwick Boseman and how he carried himself in his last years, because nobody knew he was suffering. Even Ryan Coogler didn't know, as he was filming Black Panther, that this brother was dealing with stage 3 colon cancer. He didn't know. He didn't want nobody to feel sorry for him. He was a proud man. He did not want anybody to feel sorry for him. But when you start looking at these interviews, especially one he did with Sway on Sirius, and he talked about them 2 young boys he visited in the hospital who was dealing with cancer, and he broke down and cried. We now realize that he probably was thinking about himself as well. He was crying for himself as well. Because you think about how tragic it is for him to get to the zenith or the prime of his career, to really get in the prime. Because I thought, he's going to be around forever in terms of acting. I thought he going to be like Denzel and Morgan Freeman and Samuel Jackson. He's going to be constantly in demand, employed, making classic movies. You think about the movies he have made, even the ones that wasn't so great, they were watchable because of him. All the movies he did. He didn't really make a bad movie that I could think of off the top of my head now. Y'all may have some qualms, but I think about Marshall, Get On Up, and Jackie, or 42. I saw those all in the movie theater first. And I knew for some reason that he always came through. When he was at bat, he always came through like Jackie Robinson. He stepped into the hero's role. He came through for the culture. Even Black Panther, I saw that twice, even though I know now that the Black Panther psyops is problematic for black people. But even that role, T'Challa, I mean, the man was royalty. You understand? He had the blessings of the righteous ancestors to do what he did. Now, you can talk about things about Hollywood and the occult, but there's a part to it as well. We are all sacrifices on some level. We all blood sacrifices. When you fight a war and you're a soldier in a war, you're a blood sacrifice. When you submit to police brutality and a system that don't treat you right, and don't respect your humanity, you're a blood sacrifice. So we all blood sacrifices. So that shouldn't be no big mystery. Jesus was a blood sacrifice. If you believe in Jesus, that he existed, he was a blood sacrifice, right? For the culture, right? So Chadwick was a blood sacrifice. And Chadwick, to me, when I thought about him passing, I thought about 2 people in particular. One was the great baseball player Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig was, played with Babe Ruth with the Yankees. Lou Gehrig was one of the greatest baseball players. I don't care what color he was or ain't. The man was phenomenal. Was a powerhouse. I mean, he played on a team with Babe Ruth and still was able to get all those RBIs, runs batting in, and home runs, playing with Babe Ruth. And he played over 2,130 straight games without taking a break, without taking a vacation. He played through all types of injuries. Even when he was in a slump, he came through, he produced. So, but one day he took himself out the lineup. He was the captain of the Yankees. He took himself out the lineup, this back in the late 30s, because he was not hitting at the plate. He was not being productive at the plate. Now, for some people, the numbers he had was all right. If he, if it was anybody else but Lou Gehrig, he's doing all right. But for Lou Gehrig, he was not at the top of his game. He took himself out, got tested, and found out he had A.L.S, which would become known as Lou Gehrig's disease, allegedly. They say he had A.L.S, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, right? Allegedly. So they did a special thing for Lou Gehrig. First and foremost, they made sure he got inducted into the Hall of Fame while he was alive. I believe they inducted him to the Hall of Fame back in 1939, special election or selection. And then they did a Lou Gehrig Day at Yankee Stadium. And he said some of the most famous words of all time: "I'm the luckiest man alive." This is a man in his prime suffering with an incurable disease. Now, only had a very limited time to live, but he still considered himself the luckiest man alive. And he was dead within a short period of time after making that speech. He wasn't alive for long. Maybe less than 2 years later, he was dead. Around the age, I want to say he was 39 when he died, but let me check. Y'all love to catch a black man having stuff off. Some of y'all live to call a person out on having stuff inaccurate, even though it was not on purpose. Whoa, he died at 37. My bad. Lou Gehrig died at 37. Right, June 2nd, 1941. He was born June 19th, 1903. He was a Gemini. And wow, died in 1941. I'll make sure he inducted in the Hall of Fame. 1939 special election vote. He didn't live that long at all. He didn't make it to 40. He had a woman that believed in him, married, but he never had kids. And I think Chadwick never had kids. He just got married right before he died. Gorgeous woman, beautiful sister. They said she mixed with black and Asian. I said, Lord have mercy. He had good taste. But sadly, he won't be able to enjoy and make all those memories and have children and a family. But he left a legacy of amazing movies. That's his legacy, man. He lived his life. He lived all those 42 years, man. He put a lot of living into that life. And you just got to think about it. He did all those movies that we love him. Most of the movies came after he was diagnosed with cancer, with the exceptions of 42, Get On Up, and even Marshall came with the cancer stuff, man. So he was doing all those Avenger movies, 21 Bridges, action packed. They say he did a lot of his own stunts, while at the same time going to the doctor, doing surgeries, visiting the sick and the shut in, doing Make-A-Wish stuff for the children. He even came to St. Jude and hanged around with the kids, who was dealing with cancer. So, it put a lot of things in perspective when you think about, now we know why the sudden drastic weight loss. And people say, well, y'all making fun of him. I say, well, a lot of times people use humor because it's a form of being concerned. You know how you see somebody fall down somewhere and you say, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And they say, yeah, I'm fine. And you start laughing. I ain't saying everybody does that, but I'm saying it's like a relief. Oh, okay, great. I'm glad you're not hurt. I'm glad you're not dead. Yeah, it was a terrible fall, but we see that you're okay. For the most part, we good. We're going to laugh a little. We're going to joke about it. So with Chadwick, he has a lot of fans and admirers still, probably more so in death than in life, because that's how it is. You don't always get your flowers while you're living. I think he got enough of his flowers. I mean, people really love this guy. I don't know the guy. He's an actor. So, actors act. They utilize their emotions and feelings to present a story. So what they said, there was a concern when I saw him when he posted to his Instagram account about Jackie Robinson Day. He looked at nosebleed, really, really frail and weak looking, sap of energy, right? And you think about the guy, compare that to him being T'Challa, the Black Panther, and how he was so energetic that his presence could fill up the whole screen, versus how you looking all drained and tired. There was a concern, and people did make fun of him. They did internet troll, but that's just part of the culture now. And now people are saying, well, no, they feel bad about doing that, or people shouldn't have did that. I said, well, everybody's dealing with stuff, man. It's not just him. It's just he's just so happened to be a celebrity. He has a large platform. He has a lot of fans. But everybody, I promise you, while me even knowing everybody in the world, dealing with something. We all dealing with something. I wake up every day thinking about stuff and dealing with something. But I don't broadcast everything I deal with to the world, because it makes us human. We all got things going on. But what makes us, exceptional is when we can be able to not focus on the things that's going on that we can't control, but work on the things we can control, that we can be of service to, that we can amplify, that can be a service and good for other people. That is what gives me hope. So, yeah, when I look at Chadwick, he was our Lou Gehrig because he was suffering so much. You don't know what he was going through on a day-to-day basis. Only his family know what he had to endure, but only he really knows at the end what he had to truly endure, and what he was willing to share and not share. That was on him. But it was amazing how they was able to keep that a secret towards the end, even though he was wasting away before us. But like that Howard commencement speech he did is kind of like like Lou Gehrig's speech. You know what I'm saying? The luckiest man alive speech. That's going to endure for posterity, along with his amazing roles in these iconic roles in these movies that will last longer than The Physical Man. Those words he spoke at Howard University for those young people. And really, it reminds me of what somebody said. I think Jesse Jackson said this about Dr. King in one of his interviews in a documentary. He talked about how Dr. King would be depressed a lot. Dr. King used to get checked into the hospital for mental and physical exhaustion. See, people don't understand the hell that he caught. He was just 39 years young when they took him away from us. But he said Dr. King had the ability to preach himself out of depression. To preach him, he had to motivate himself out of depression. And I think that's what Chadwick was doing in this Howard commencement speech, as well as the interviews and his roles. He was trying to motivate himself out of his self-pity. I don't want to feel sorry for me, because when all said and done, I want to know that I did a job well done, that I did all I could. It's like with Kobe Bryant, who we lost, man. We lost so many people, man. 2020 is a horror movie. It makes 2016 look like a PG-13 movie, right? So even Kobe Bryant, when he finally retired in 2016, that adds up to 9, which means completion, end of cycle. Kobe and 8 other people died in that helicopter crash. It's 9. Included among those people was his daughter Gigi, who was going to be his basketball legacy. So when they kill you, they also try to kill your legacies. Never forget that. When they kill people like that in them type of situations, they kill legacies too, or they try. But like Kobe said, I heard in an interview about, he had no desire to continue playing basketball. He felt like he did all he could do on the court. He wore out his body. You know what I'm saying? He literally wore out his body. Played basketball for 20 years. I think he was the first guard to actually do that in basketball, to play for 20 years. Had an amazing career. Won championships. Won, awards and accolades. Should have won more MVPs. He should have won more regular season MVPs. But he said he left it all out on the court, man. He wanted to still be involved in basketball, but he had no desire to play. Cause Ice Cube talked about how he tried to get him to be a part of the 3-on-3 basketball league that he started, and Kobe, kept on turning him down because he had no more desire in terms of that part of his life. But he still want to be active in the promotion of basketball, especially with his daughter Gigi. I mean, she was gonna be like she was probably gonna be the Kobe Bryant of female basketball players, and what a loss, But Chadwick did it his way and left on his terms. I want to believe that. I mean, because he probably could have been with us longer, if he had took time to rest. If he told people, look, I'm dealing with this thing. I'm gonna take a hiatus. Please keep me in your thoughts and prayers, but please respect my privacy. You might would have had him longer, but it's not always about quantity. It's about quality. And he lived a life. It's like with Tupac, man. I never get tired of hearing Tupac stories. You know why? Because you find something new about Tupac, especially from the person who tells the story. Tupac deserves a better movie than he got 3 years ago. With no disrespect. Not the actor. The actor actually did a decent job, but it's the script and the way it was shot could be much better. I would tell Netflix or somebody, y'all need to get in touch with the brother who runs the YouTube channel, The Art of the Dialogue. That brother is brilliant. I love that brother because he's bringing us like another side of Tupac that nobody, even Vlad TV, hasn't touched. Now Vlad does his job. I'm not going to disrespect Vlad like a lot of people do. Vlad TV, he feels a need, for content to tell these stories. But yeah, he got a lot of Tupac stuff on there. But this dude, and yeah, Vlad actually did. Well, he actually interviewed a girl who allegedly accused Tupac of rape. Now we know that's BS. It's like if Sam Cooke died today. Now when Sam Cooke died under questionable circumstances, during a coroner inquest, they said it was justifiable homicide. So we don't believe that Sam Cooke kidnapped and raped a woman or attempted to rape a woman. Shit, women were trying to rape Sam Cooke. But if he died under those circumstances, with that verdict in these times, he would be considered a Me Too boogeyman, like they're doing Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. So it's funny how that works, But even in Tupac, Art of Dialogue does a great job. He interviewed with a girl named Angel Kelly, who's kind of like the Jackie Robinson of porn stars. No disrespect to anybody, not Jackie Robinson. I'm saying she was the first black porn star to really make it mainstream in the industry. And she talked about the How Do You Want It video shooting the after party. And she talked about Tupac. And so from her perspective, what she said lets me know that he didn't rape anybody. He was accused of rape, but then people don't understand either that he didn't go to jail for rape. He went to jail for improper touching of the buttocks. So it wasn't even rape because the sex was consensual between him and her. And I don't think they found anything that's evidence of a rape. I think they did a rape kit, I'm not mistaken. But I did an interview with her, and she's like an MK Ultra sex kitten. Like she's under mind control. And it's weird. She's still good looking, but it's like she's under mind control. But think about those events that did or did not happen that night led to Tupac's premature death at 25. But Tupac did a lot of living in those years. What I'm saying, he didn't waste his 25 years. He did more living in 25 than most people do in 75. And the same thing with Chadwick. In those 42 years he was on this planet, he put a lot of living into his life and left us with a legacy that will transcend his death and should serve as an inspiration. Another person I was thinking about when I thought about our dear brother Chadwick, because he was the Lou Gehrig of our generation, of this generation. I mean, Lou Gehrig, they did a movie called Pride of the Yankees about Lou Gehrig. Gary Cooper played Lou Gehrig, and Babe Ruth played himself. And it was a good movie. I like Pride of the Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a Yankees, Cowboys, Laker fan. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. But I'm not arrogant about it. Because what I love about them is even when they have bad seasons, you can always fall back on their history of greatness. That's why history is so important to me. Because you got to, sometimes you got to motivate yourself when you're in a slump, or in the deer, in a slump, going through it. You can always look back in Sankofa tradition of looking back towards the past for inspiration for the future. So I dig that. But beautiful sister named Diana Sands. I don't know if y'all know who Diana Sands. Some of you old heads know who Diana Sands was, right? She was in that movie Sweet Willie Dynamite. Sweet Willie Dynamite, I think. Also, she was in the TV adaptation of A Raisin in the Sun, right? I got that right. Was she in A Raisin in the Sun? She was Benita Younger. She's just a gorgeous woman. It's something about her. She made me realize that I got a thing for certain women with gap teeth smiles. Like she had a gap tooth smile. And some women it's very like sexy to me. Like some black women I know, they have gap tooth smiles. Something very attractive about them. And she was a high yellow girl, red bone, whatever, from New York. But check out how the acting, man, The Raisin in the Sun. Also, that movie. Is it Sweet Willie Dynamite? I'm saying it right. Willie Dynamite. She was the social worker, former hooker. She used to be a WAP seller. She used to be a WAP seller. She turned into a social worker and social justice advocate. Helped Willie Dynamite change his life around. And Willie Dynamite, the dude who played Willie Dynamite, ended up starring in Sesame Street. I guess he like Billy Porter, huh? But anyway, silly Porter. But yeah, she died young. She died of cancer, or a form of cancer. And she was just 39 years old. Once again, at number 39 in Black history. But she supposed to play Claudine. But she ended up suggesting that Diane Carroll, the great Diane Carroll, play Claudine. And the rest is history. But she died so young. And she had no children either. And I think about her sometimes when I look at Willie Dynamite. And at least she left a legacy. Just like Chadwick. But these people don't be around forever. But you gotta appreciate people. We gotta appreciate ourselves, because like a lot of times we think that celebrities, politicians, these folks are more important than us or everyday people, and we forget that we make these folks who they are. They feed off our energy. That's why you look at basketball. A lot of them players not into the game. I haven't been looking at it, but they know that they need a crowd, an audience to feed energy off of. It helps motivate them to excel. Any performer knows how important how important audience participation is to inspire them to take their game to the next level. Look at somebody like Michael Jordan, how he fed out the crowd at Madison Square Garden. He said that was the greatest place to play basketball, but it was not his hometown team crowd, right? It was Spike Lee and Madison Square Garden, but it made him take his game to the next level. Same thing with Reggie Miller when he played at the Garden. Spike Lee going back and forth. You need that sometimes. Like Kobe understood that your haters could be your biggest fans and admirers. They'll tell you when you slipping. They'll let you know when you ain't. So, more so than friends and family. So, with that said, Chadwick was a people's champ. People love Chadwick Boseman because of his roles, man. He fed off of people. You understand? He knew the importance of what he was doing. He sounded like he was a perfectionist at his craft. He took it seriously. Like Ryan Coogler talking about how he made suggestions to the Black Panther script and stuff like, this is what T'Challa should do, or how you see this from this angle. So the man, I can see why somebody like Denzel Washington or somebody like Felicia Rashad believed in him, because first and foremost he believed in himself, but he also know that it's up to the people to decide who is going to be the hero, shero, and he lived up to the role, the role of a lifetime. So yeah, but I think it's interesting, like, once again, why have they went through all this trouble to change his birth date? Because even I'm sharing screenshots. If you're looking at the video on this, I'm just posting up screenshots of stuff. You have articles written on blackdoctor.org. They said, Chadwick Boseman died at 42, but in the article itself, it lists him as 43. See all the confusion? See how you learn in an era like this, or any time, it's called critical thinking. If you want to help become better at critical thinking, you got to learn how to heighten the contradictions, compare and contrast pro and con. So people say, well, Ron, you reading too much into this. I said, well, maybe I am, maybe I ain't, but it's fascinating to know these things, the patterns and whatnot, how things are ran on numbers, the significance of numbers. Now, I don't know what purpose this serves. I just noticed, I just observed this. And I can't tell you. It's kind of like that movie with Nicolas Cage called The Knowing that came out a little bit over 10 years ago. And he was an MIT professor, astrophysicist, I believe. And the MIT professor, he stumbled upon this letter with all these numbers on it. And it predicted future tragic events. It was in a time capsule at a school. It's worth looking at. Nicolas Cage, whatever you think about his acting, he makes interesting movies. He's not boring. His movies are fascinating. And so it's like he decodes the numbers, but he can't really stop the tragedies. He go there thinking he can stop it, and it happens anyway. So like he's saying, I don't know what good it is to know when I can't do anything about it. Like, what good is it to know if I can't stop or prevent tragedies from happening? I don't know. I can't tell y'all, like, these numbers. I started noticing these numbers, like with the Kobe thing. I don't know what it means. I don't know what to do with them. It's just fascinating to note that how these patterns appear and reappear. You know what I'm saying? And then I think the best thing about it is it gets you to research things. It gets you more back into researching things and thinking for yourself. And then you gotta wonder, why did they go through all this trouble? And with the birth dates, because you look at Frederick Douglass, right? Frederick Douglass don't really know or didn't know when he was actually born. He settled on Valentine's Day. We don't know if he was born in 1817, 1818, or 1820. He doesn't know that. He didn't know that, right? But we settled on that. And so, with that said, he made it that. He made it his reality that he was born Valentine's Day. Well, I believe 1818 or 1817. Somebody look forward to correcting me, can correct me. But what a life he lived. But what I learned about Frederick Douglass, he wrote several autobiographies on his life. It was all about reinvention, reclaiming the narrative, shape-shifting, like Dick Gregory talking about shape-shifting. And it's Chadwick. Chadwick was an alchemist, was a shapeshifter. He lived within his roles and he grew outside the roles. He reintroduced folks to the genius of James Brown. We take that for granted. People, baby boomers and stuff, Generation X's, whatever. People know, we grew up living in America. I'm black and I'm proud. Papa's got a brand new bed. People take that for granted. You know, a lot of younger people don't know about their history. They don't know that James Brown is the foundation of hip hop. I believe that James Brown is the most sampled artist in hip hop or rap history. He's the fact. Without James Brown, there's no hip hop. There's no rap. You know, without James Brown, there's no Michael Jackson, no MC Hammer, no Prince. But yet, black people gotta understand that. Same thing with Little Richard passing. You know, Little Richard, very important. But, you know, he wasn't as relevant when he died as he was maybe 50 something years ago. Or 60 years ago even. So, with that said, we got to take the chance to redig this. I mean, even seeing him in the Five Bloods, to me, Storm and Norman really saved a lot of that Five Blood stuff, because Spike Lee could have wrote a better script. It was kind of cheesy. I know a guy who was a consultant on the Five Bloods. This brilliant brother named Arthur Flowers. He's a professor, or was, or maybe he's retired at Syracuse University, but he's from, guess where? He's from Memphis. And he was hired as a consultant for Spike Lee on The Five Bloods for Netflix. And even he said in his Facebook post that he tried to consult with Spike and them about maybe helping them with their script, and they didn't take his advice on that. They didn't want to consult with him on that. But I wish he did consult with him, because it could have been a much better. Now, you had some great acting performances from, of course, Chadwick Boseman and also Delroy Lindo. He did a great job, but the script could have been much tighter. The story or plot could have been much more believable. But it is what it is. And Spike had Netflix money, and he still couldn't get it done. And Spike been hit or miss a lot lately. Overall, his legacy is great. Of course, you know, he got Do the Right Thing. She Gotta Have It. Mo Better Blues, one of my favorite music films of all time. Of course, Malcolm X. Inside Man. Miracle of St. Anna. Spike is a brilliant storyteller, but sometimes he get too heavy-handed with how you want to tell stories, and you know, whatever. But anyway, that's neither here or there. But with that said, if you think about when Chadwick died, they say he died August 28th, right? That's a powerful day, and August is a powerful month. It's known as Black August. To me, Black August is the real Black History Month. So many phenomenal black people were born, revolutions were started. A lot of things happened during the month of August for black people. You know, Chadwick died on August 28th, 2020. August 28th was also the 57th anniversary of the 1963 March on Washington, what Malcolm called the Farce on Washington. August 28th also was the date in 1955, 65 years ago, that Emmett Lewis Till, a boy from Chicago visiting his folks down in the Mississippi Delta, was kidnapped from his great uncle Mose Wright's home in Money, Mississippi, and was lynched. Only 14 years young, they found his body in the Tallahatchie River, August 31st, 1955. His mama had an open casket funeral so the world could see what they did to her baby boy, her only child. That was Mamie Till Bradley. And that was the face that launched the civil rights movement, because that was the face that Rosa Parks, who was 42, once again, remember when she was sitting down and refusing to move from her seat on that bus in Montgomery, which led to the Montgomery bus boycott. That's August 28th. August 28th also in 2020 was Jackie Robinson Day. As you know, dealing with the pandemic, COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. You know, Jackie Robinson Day would normally be April 15th, because that marks the anniversary of Jackie Robinson making his actual plane debut. Actual plane debut, April 15th, 1947. But they moved it because Major League Baseball was postponed until this summer, and they had Jackie Robinson Day this year on August 28th, which marked actually the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson being notified by the Brooklyn Dodgers that they were going to sign him. They wanted to sign him to play for the Dodgers. That happened August 28th, 1945. And also, you know, Chadwick played in the movie 42, right? And also, August 28th is the birthday of Jack Kirby, the legendary comic book author and artist, right? This is the guy who co-created Black Panther for Marvel. So what are the coincidences that this guy, Chadwick Boseman, decided to become a righteous ancestor on this day of August 28th? I just named you all this stuff that happened in history on August 28th, and he died during Black August. You can't get any blacker than that. Man. So you trying to tell me they not trying to play with these numbers by design? They trying to do some trickery, some magic tricks. Marvel is owned by Disney. They are the king or queen of make-believe, of illusions, of fantasies. So there you go. It's a big production. What they say, the world's a stage, right? And we are all actors. There are no small parts. Chadwick was a great actor. People say, well, did he fake his death? I don't know. What's real and what's not real? Are we living in the Matrix? Are we some part of somebody's dream? Alternate universes, parallel universes. They said they discovered evidence of parallel universes, or a parallel universe. And Dick Gregory talked about how they said that there's two suns out there. Time is speeding up, but does time really exist? But things are moving rapidly. As I do this, it's September. To me, I think we should supposed to be in April right now. That's how fast time is moving to me. But yeah, let's think about all this stuff I said, and by the fact that they went through all this trouble to try to change how old he was when he died. Now, with Dick Gregory died at 84, right? He died in Black August too. It was August. When did Dick die? I want to say August 19th, 2017. I can't believe it's been 3 years since he died or made his transition as an elder, as an ancestor. Excuse me. I'm trying to see. I want to get the right date because y'all be crucifying a brother like me. Martin Scorsese could shoot a $200 million budget film with Netflix called The Irishman and get all the dates of when people die wrong. Not just by a little bit, but by years. And he had a team of researchers, right? He had all this money from Netflix. And y'all said that's a classic. Okay. But Brother Ron get a date off or get a name wrong or say something wrong. Y'all in the inbox. Y'all up in the comment section. He don't know what you're talking about. CNN get stuff wrong all day long. Like, they just paid that white boy all that money. CNN and them other news outlets got millions and millions of dollars to pay lawsuits. Brother Ron just asking for some cash out money to buy a Subway sandwich or a Popeye chicken sandwich. Anyway, yeah, Dick died August 19, 2017. Okay. But Dick had the thing about, he was 84 when he died, right? Was he 84? I want to get it right. Let me check. Like I said, once again, this stuff is hilarious to me. I want to say he was 84. He was 84, but he would say he was 85 because his birthday was October 12th. It would be October 12th. He was born October 12th, 1932. I think what his thing was, he's closer to 85 than he was to 84 or to 83 or whatever. So the closer he was to his actual birthday, he started saying I'm 85. So maybe they was doing that, but I doubt that what they was doing. They really, cause they changed the whole year they went from 77 to 76. So there you go. But think about all that, are we living in a computer game? I mean, like David Icke talks about this, simulated. Are we a simulation? Are we really real? It's kind of like a video game. You know how you play like Super Mario Brothers, something like that, or Sonic the Hedgehog. You have so many lives, right? You go jump off a cliff, and then you can come back and you have so many lives left to play. So, it speaks to reincarnation. So, do anybody really die or just go to somewhere else? You can't kill energy, right? So, I mean, I'm not trying to get all esoteric and philosophical with it, but I want y'all to acknowledge that. Isn't that odd or strange that he would die at that time on those significant anniversaries? The guy who actually created one of his iconic roles that he played, because he'll forever be known as T'Challa, the Black Panther. They may have to reboot the Black Panther series, or technology is where is that they could use CGI, computer technology so advanced now. You remember when Brandon Lee died during the making of The Crow? That's Bruce Lee's son under very questionable circumstances. right? Because even Bruce Lee died under very questionable circumstances. So they actually back then was able to use technology to complete the film, and technology is way more advanced than it was back in the 90s. Hollywood technology. So they could probably still have quote unquote Chadwick involved some way in the Black Panther 2 movie if it have not even been filmed yet. They could have, or somebody said just have him, somebody play him and never take the mask off, or they could actually just put a face on somebody. Look at what they did with the Irishman. They de-age, what they call de-age Pesci and De Niro and Pacino, right? Made them look younger, So they got the technology, so it is possible that he still could play that before they reboot it. And also, my thing was, I would love to see Killmonger become Black Panther, because one thing in these superhero movies, you can't, when you see a person die, nobody really dies. They can always come back. Think about the X-Men, Jean Grey or whatever. Think about all this. They can always come back. You always make them come back. That's one thing I like about these superhero movies. Nobody ever dies for sure. They can always come back. So let's say Killmonger. We never saw Killmonger actually thrown into the ocean. If they could save that white boy, Captain America friend, I forgot his name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The one they saved and made him back good again or whatever. They probably saved Killmonger. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually took Killmonger to the lab, preserved his life, and he become the next Black Panther. Killmonger's revenge. I'd love to see Michael B. Jordan back in the Black Panther franchise as the new Black Panther, because actually he won square and fair with T'Challa when they did that battle. He beat him fair and square, and he won. So he should be the king of Wakanda. I don't think his sister should become the Black Panther. No. But I think the Killmonger, because Killmonger, that'd be awesome. They brought Killmonger back as Black Panther. Or maybe they just wait and reboot the whole thing. Because you look at Spider-Man, they constantly remaking Spider-Man, man. Spider-Man's so popular. Even the Spider-Verse was great. I was thoroughly impressed and surprised by the Spider-Verse animation thing they did. But they reboot Spider-Man like 2 or 3 years apart. It's just like whatever. So I can see them rebooting Black Panther maybe in a couple years. Yeah. One of the things, it would have been nice to have seen Wesley Snipes play Black Panther back in the day. Because look what he did for Blade. And Blade actually saved Marvel. Blade came out. I remember seeing Blade back in 98 as a college student at Washington University in St. Louis. Went to the movie theater around the corner and saw Blade with some friends and was impressed with it. But, he would have made a hell of a Black Panther, though. Yeah, it's funny how they, what if Richard Pryor played the part of the sheriff in Blazing Saddles? Now, he wrote for Blazing Saddles with the Hollywood people. He pissed off too many Hollywood people, and they said, we ain't going to let you, Mel Brooks, star the man in the part of Blazing Saddles. They let the other brother play, but imagine if Richard Pryor played that part. Blazing Saddles is considered a comedic masterpiece. But imagine if Richard Pryor played the part of the sheriff instead of Cleavon Little. Not take away nothing from Cleavon, the ancestors, but that's how they do it, man. We gotta learn how to tell our stories. We got the tools. You can do a whole movie on iPhone. Anything's possible right now, so there's no excuses. And if Chadwick could do what he did, battling stage 3 and 4 colon cancer for 4 years, making all them classic movies, iconic roles, there is no excuse for us to do what we can do in order to make our life, living life like golden. Live your life like it's golden. Be the prize. See how it works? Chadwick Boseman, I think the truth will come out about what actually happened with him. From my understanding, he was cremated and his ashes given to his beautiful wife. I don't know if it's true or not. I can't believe everything you read. I just told you about how they changed the dates of his birthday. But I'm always reminded with these celebrities' deaths, like I said, we make these people who they are. And Dick will always remind us, and when I used to do interviews, he said, black folks made me. They helped me so much that they pushed me up downtown where they couldn't even afford to see me. So he said later on I owe the obligation to feed my people, to be with my people, to show love to my people, because my people made me. Before the world knew who he was, black people made Chadwick Boseman. Anderson, South Carolina, Howard University, Felicia Rashad, Denzel Washington. We knew who he was before they knew the value of a Chadwick Boseman. And that's how it goes, man. So we gotta start believing in ourselves, because we all we got. And at this point, the thing about these celebrities is that they're not going to change the world. We, the people, will change the world. LeBron James and them, they could entertain us. Actually, they can't speak for me. I speak for myself. And also, like what Dave Chappelle said, another entertainer who was very, brilliant. He said, I can't speak for the streets. The streets speak for themselves. And the streets chose Chadwick Boseman. We love you madly, man. And you'll be missed, but you won't be missed because you'll be around forever, because your legacy, man. You left a powerful legacy. Now, my issue with the Black Panther is really not just with the Black Panther. It's with how they portray black men in superhero movies and TV shows, period. I'm not impressed. Even the Black Panther, I believe Black Panther could have been more assertive. He had a lot of women bailing him out, Wakanda, a lot of black girl magic everywhere. But I want some black man excellence too. I want some black man magic too, man. Grown black man magic. I think he was very limited in expressing that, part. But it's a problem with a lot of superhero thing movies with black people. Look at The Watchmen on HBO. It was very disturbing to see the most powerful being in the universe be emasculated, be weak, be bailed out by his woman. That's the dude that played Dr. Manhattan. When Dr. Manhattan was a white man, he was powerful, waging wars, assassinating people, destroying things, creating things. But as a black man, he was docile and meek and weak and emasculated. And a stay-at-home dad. Well, I ain't knocking that, but ain't that strange that you the most powerful thing in the world, or being in the world, and when you black, when you shapeshift into being a black man, you the weakest and most pitiful thing in the world. That's insane. I don't think people picked up on it, but a lot of us did pick up on it. And I'm a Regina King fan. She deserved all accolades, but I was not impressed with how they portrayed the black man, especially even her grandfather when he was a Cape Crusader. When he was the original Cape Crusader, he had that relationship with that gay white superhero. He was using him as a sex fetish, and and to me that really talks about the Black Lives Matter movement. How it's really not about black lives, but black sex lives, matter more than black lives in general. In that movement, I'm talking the LLC Black Lives Matter, not what the people know that black lives do matter, but I'm talking about the corporate version of Black Lives Matter. So that Watchmen reveals a lot, and also the Watchmen show how media is used to manipulate the minds of black people. Through the music, through the movies. It's deep. It's worth. I would tell people, watch The Watchmen, and I just told you how I felt about it, and also about a lot of these movies, how they show so-called black hetero males who supposed to be alpha males acting like betas. Another TV show, not The Watchmen, but The Umbrella Academy season 2. Now I watched both seasons. I enjoyed watching The Umbrella Academy. But when your mind is woke, when your third eye can see, when your magic glasses can't be taken off, you see things as they are. I'm not here to convince you all to see it the way I see it, but rather to share my own thoughts and insights on what I am seeing. And even in that season 2, it was disturbing because you had the octoroom mulatto sister, whatever she was. She probably didn't claim black either, but she's supposed to be the black character. One of the leads in Umbrella Academy. She was married to a civil rights activist or leader. And the guy was so weak to me. He was so emasculated. You got your woman bailing you out. You confronting racist white men, and it's your woman out here knocking them out. Even it's the black women in the show. They said in the 1963 in Dallas, the second season. They said in 1963 in Dallas, right before the Kennedy assassination. So you got your woman and her female friends beating up police. The black man ain't doing nothing but, screaming and yelling and saying, please, mister, don't hit me so more. You got your woman bailing you out doing police brutality things. She's fighting the bad guys. You up here can't even carry or throw a punch. Stuff is weird, and it's like they working on our minds and our psyche with that agenda. It's like even you go on Black Lives Matter website, they try to phase out the alpha hetero black male. They don't want no patriarchy. They don't want no black man, no black hetero male presence in the so-called black family. So it's open season on black men. Okay? So that's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If you're looking at this video, I'll show y'all the screenshots. Y'all can think about what y'all think about these things and have your own opinions, but I just want to share mine. And like I said, Chadwick Boseman, he was a great one. It was only a matter of time before he got that Oscar, I believe. But even though I don't care for Oscar, to be honest with you, so many great talents that never get recognized in their lifetime. There's a lot of great artists, especially black artists, never won an Oscar, a Grammy, a Tony, an Emmy, but it don't take away from their work. You look at something like The Wire, which had a majority black cast. People say this is one of the greatest TV shows, if not the greatest TV show of all time. Never won anything. So what they say about these people? And so, love yourself, take care of yourself, be good to yourself, be kind to yourself. So this is all I want to say. So, I might have other people on my platform. They may talk about Chadwick, legacy, or whatever. But I'm letting you know, I have no problem with the brother. It's not always... No, sometimes it's funny how things is, all right? Dick used to tell me all the time, it's not the way you live, it's how you die that people may remember you. But with Chadwick, I think it's both. I think it's the way he lived, the work he was able to produce on this planet while he was around in the physical form, and how he died, or how they told us that he died. For him, that's both. Interesting, man. It's fascinating. This year is this year is crazy, man. All these great ones, man. So many people dying. Like, life is unexpected. The only thing you can expect in life was death and taxes, getting sick from time to time. But everything else is like whatever. It's a crapshoot, man. Life is a gamble. Life is a hustle. Life is a game. You win and lose, but ultimately we lose. Life teach you how to be great at losing, yet still winning. Chadwick lost his life, but he secured a legacy. Now, if y'all curious about what really happened, you gotta pray at noon for the truth to come out. And when the truth does come out, pray for the spirit of discernment, be able to recognize for what it is. And also, one thing is I'm learning, just don't worry about things you cannot control. Focus on things you can control. And then do what you got to do to make it work in your favor. So with that said, family, thank you all for listening. I'm rambling now. But I name dropped some people for y'all to look up. And y'all should look them up. Especially Diana Sands. She was such a talent. She was beautiful to me, man. I like women. Some women got beautiful gap tooth smiles. I love it. And she was one of them. And I wish I had a time machine. But anyway. If you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Support us. Like this video. We All Be TV. If you're looking at this on YouTube, like it, please. Because they mess with my algorithms. They really are, I believe, shadow banning me. I don't really think they are. I know they are shadow banning me. I know. It is what it is. But support. Cash App your support. $ R2C2H2. That's $ R2C2H2. You can Vimo at R2C2H2. That's at R2C2H2. I said R2C2H2 at Vimo if you want to do that. But Cash App is $ R2C2H2. You can Google Pay or PayPal your support. R2C2H2 at gmail.com. That's R2C2H2 at gmail.com. Also, you can buy Art of His Art at R2C2H2.com. That's R2C2H2.com. I said R2C2H2.com. Also, if you looking at this video on YouTube on our channel, below the video description box is our shelf from our Teespring store. That's R2C2H2's place. So check out our art that you can wear at our Teespring store. So with that said, family, thank you once again for tuning in to Brother Herd and the We All Be Info movement, because knowledge is the currency of the universe. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. And remember, let my people know.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.